Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner Classics as Non-Classics. This is episode number 1101 and Doubleshot number 995. I got two more books for you. These books, like in the case of the last couple books I did, books I actually own that I got 10 years ago. First up it is Essential. Marvel 2-in-1 presents The Thing, Volume 3. This collects issues 53 to 77 and annuals 4 through 5. The writers for these particular issues are Mark Greenwald writes a good chunk of these issues, along with Alvin Brutsky, the Austin Dave Michelini, Marv Wolfman, Ralph Mitchell, and Tom DeFalco. And that's it. The artwork of the issues is now by John Byrne. He draws like a good chunk of these. John Byrne, George Perez, Jim Craig, Chuck Stone, Jerry Brickham, Juan Wilson, which I met this guy really else first meet, Mike Nesser, Alan Kupperberg, who also does the artwork for January 5, and Frank Spengler. First up, we have the Pegasus Saga, something they've been building the book since issue 2. Yeah, when they introduce the character the Wanderer, who becomes Aquarius at the end of the storyline. It's a 6-part storyline. Starts with issue 53, doesn't wrap up to issue 58. Yeah, bringing characters like Bill Foster, who first was Black Goliath, and of course thinks just in turn like, hey, why don't you change him to the Giant Man? He's like, okay, I'll think Hank Pym will mind. Yep, we also Thundera shows up in here, because why not? He also was introduced to the female grapplers. Oh yeah, and in case you're a fan of Thunderbolts, this storyline is debut of Songbird, when back then she was known as Screaming Mimi. Yep, her debut in here. Yeah, it was part of this storyline here. Let me look up to see what she looks like here. Yeah, she's one of those female grapplers. Thunder is a heavily part of this storyline, and of course, we also have the death of the original Deathlock, Luther Manning. Yeah, he makes his final appearance in the storyline. Well, this version anyways. They kind of confirm this is his death, but yeah. Does show up once after that, probably takes place before it's actually that, but yeah, he dies. In case you're wondering what does Thundera look like in here, without Thundera, the character Scream Mimi, that's her right there. That's Scream Mimi, aka Songbird. Yep. Here's more per picture of her along with Pound Cakes, Letha, and Titania. Yeah, you're probably thinking, Titania, isn't that the same woman who's married to the Czar-Man? Well, yes, this is the original one. Oh, and by the way, this woman here was a victim of the Scourge in the world. She's actually the only female villain actually killed by the Scourge in the world. He never kills any other villain except for this one. Oh yeah, she was brought back by the Hood in the Rick Remender run, where she changed name to Luscious, and she developed hormones where the special power where she can have men like fall in love with her, just like it's a very similar power to what Spider-Woman has. Yep. Yeah, this whole storyline is just really good. We also have Quasar in here, which is awesome because Mark Greenwald loved Quasar. Because later on he wrote the comic book. Yep, he wrote the freaking comic book for Quasar. Yeah, then after this, I think it was just after the storyline wrapped up, that we had a team up with Black Bolt in the 4th annual. Yep, we also teamed with a couple times the Guardians of the Galaxy in here. Oh, by the way, the cover here, it's actually this cover right here, 53, where he teams up with the Human Torch, because why not? Yeah, Stanley teams up with the Impossible Man. Excuse me, kind of like Mixie Mitzelplick. We also debut in this, basically a three-parter featuring Starhawk, along with his female version of himself, who's actually his wife, and coming of her. Yeah, the wife of Adam Warlock. Yeah, Adam Warlock's wife. We also have High Evolutionary shows up in the storyline. Moon Dragon, because why not? Yep. Really action-packed storyline. And then we have him teaming up with the Stingray, which comes right after that trilogy of chapters. Basically, yeah, it's like, okay, we wrap up one story arc, let's start another one. The Serpent Crown Affair, which starts from 64. I don't think it wraps up to like 60-something. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, it wraps up, it starts from 64, and wraps up with issue 65. Right? Yeah. Actually, no, because it starts from 64, goes straight to 66. It's a three-parter. Yep. And mostly pretty much a standalone team-ups, like team with Thundera. There's team with Angel, heck, even Iceman's in here as well, along with the Hulk, because why not have a team with another team with the Hulk? And 70, just team with the Yancey Street Gang. He has a couple issues in here, teams up with the Inhumans. Yes, the Inhumans. Quasar again, right after the Pegasus Saga, because why not? And of course, it's issued by Mark Greenwald. Yep. Then basically team up with the Puppet Master of all people. Yes, the Puppet Master. Yeah, of course, the Hulk again. For the 75th issue, teams up with the Avengers, which the lineup for this issue was Iron Man, Captain America, the Wasp, Beast, and Hawkeye. Because 75 issues, why not? Yep, and of course, last one, and of course, 716 with Iceman. And then for the final issue in here, he teams up with Man-Thing, just like he did in the first issue. And here's something quite strange, though, about issue 77. Yeah, it's listed as part of the actual... It's listed as part of the issues collected in here, but the credits page doesn't credit this issue for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why. It's weird. Yeah, it goes straight to 76, but yet it says 77, yet it doesn't list it, but here's 77 right here. I don't know why I did this for it. It's a minor thing. But this overall is really good. I highly recommend people who are fans. Like, if you want to get some classic stuff for the thing, or if you're a fan of Thunderbolts, like, and you're curious though, what was the first appearance of the character Songbird, the storyline, the Pegasus Project, which is reprinted here, and believe it or not, in its own separate trade, mind you. Yes, its own separate trade. Yeah, it's really good. Give this book a 10 out of 10. Classic book. Yeah, though the issues collected in here were printed from 1979 to 1981. Oh yeah, in case you're wondering, there is one more book that comes after this, but I don't have Volume 4. Nope, I don't have it. It's not because I'm too lazy to buy it, it's just I just never gotten it. I've read the issues in it, but I don't own it. Wish I did, though. Next up is a book that, when you see the cover, like, really? You gotta go backwards when it comes to the cover designs of these books. This is Essential Super-Villian Team Up. You're probably thinking, what the heck is this title? Because, for some people, they probably have never heard of this title. At all. I mainly got this book originally because I wanted to read the issues for Avengers. Yeah, but here's the thing. This book collects giant size Super-Villian Team Up 1 through 2. And we have Super-Villian Team Up issues 1 through 14 and 16 and 17. I'll get to why 15 is not here in a minute. We also have Avengers 154 to 156. Champions. This is the original Champions, not the modern day equivalent, the one that Mark Waid and Best was formed a few years ago. And Astonishing Tales 1 through 8. Yep. Now, the thing with the issues here, Astonishing Tales is pretty much the whole point of this book is simple. it starts to basically focus on Doc Doom heavily first, and him working with Namor, and then teams up with Magneto for one issue, and the last couple issues is just a team up with the Red Skull and one of the Hate Monglers. Yeah, it kind of felt this storyline was very last minute. Yeah, because they had to continue this for a couple more issues. Oh, issue 15. They actually give the reason why it's actually in here. Issue 15 is not in here because it's a reprint of issues 4 and 5 of Astonishing Tales. Yep. Now, Astonishing Tales, the issues for Doc Doom. Now the first 4 issues are drawn by Wally Wood. For issue 5 and 6 is George Tosca. For 7 and 8 is the awesome and late Gene Colan. Roy Thomas writes the first 2 issues. And then we have 3 through 6 done by Larry Lieber. Larry Lieber, in case you don't know who this guy is, he's Stan Lee's brother. Yep. Jerry Conway writes the last couple issues. And of course we have the giant-sized Super-Villian team-up, worked by Roy Thomas and Larry Lieber. Why not? And artwork by John Buscema, Larry Lieber, and Frank Gula. And of course Roy Thomas does the second one. Tony Isabella writes the first 2 issues of the series. Jim Shooter does issue 3. Bill Mantlo does issue 4. Steve Eckhart does 5, 6, all up to 8. Jerry Conway comes in for the Avengers issues. Though he co-writes issue 56 with Jim Shooter. Bill Mantlo takes over issue 9. And he's pretty much the writer up until like issue 14. Peter Giles writes the last couple issues. Arvil Jones draws the last issue. Carmine Infantino. Yes, the guy who created Reverse Flash. He gets a chance to draw this issue for issue 16. Bob Hall, which I got him to sign this book. He does issue 16 of Champions, and 17 and 14 is also by him as well. Keith Giffen does issue 13. Bob Hall does issue 12. Now, most of the artwork in here for the main series itself, like, first issue is George Costa, Bill Everett, and George Evans. For issue 2, it's basically Sal Buscema. Like, every issue's got like a different artist for some reason, though. I think it was for a while. For issue 3 is George Evans. For issues 4 through 7, it's Herb Temple. Keith Giffen does issue 8, 13. And that's it. Jim Shooter draws issue 9. Let's see. Yep. Now, the whole thing with the Astonishing Tales. Yeah, it just basically this was a series that basically Kazar also had a feature in. Yes, there was a couple issues of this that was reprinted in the first essential book for Man-Thing, because Man-Thing guest starred for a couple issues in there, because why not? Yeah, mainly because this came right after his debut appearance, so why not feature in there? Yeah, this series has one thing in common with Amazing Adventures. You ever think Amazing Adventures? Say, isn't that the same type of title that Spider-Man is debuting? Well, not exactly, no. Well, originally the series was called Amazing Adventures, which is with the character Dr. Drum made his debut. Dr. Druid, yes. That character, who is basically like a C-list, like, magician who's actually dead. Yeah. It was originally called Amazing Adventures for 6 issues, and they changed him to Amazing Adult Fantasy for issues 7 to 14 and 15. That's where Amazing Fantasy comes in. Amazing Adventures, this was the second volume for the series. For basically first 20 issues, it was basically a Kazar book, with issues 1 through 8 basically being a backup feature for Doc Doom. And Amazing Adventures, it was Inhumans' first 10 issues. For Astonishing Tales, Amazing Adventures, it was Inhumans' first 10, and then basically for 11 to 15, it was The Thing, and then pretty much for the remainder of that particular book's run, it was War of the World. It was the Killraven run. For this book, for Amazing Adventures, for Astonishing Tales, it was Kazar for 20 issues with Doc Doom for backup feature 1 through 8, and then we have the character Golem for issues 21 to 24, and then from 25-33 it was the original Deathlock, though they skipped over issue 29 because it was a reprint of the first appearance of Guardians of the Galaxy. Yep, Yeah, it's like basically Doctor Doom gets his own solo adventures in his own country. Yeah, they also have the debut of a character called the Faceless One. Yeah, who this guy is never revealed. It's like he's an alien. It's like, what? We also the debut of the Doomsman. You're probably thinking, Doomsman? That sounds very familiar. Isn't that also a character from the video game Marvel Ultimate Alliance? Yes. This comic was the debut of the character. Yep, so that character is not an anime, is not an original game character. That actually is, believe it or not, a character who made his debut in the Astonishing Tales feature. And it's all focused on Doctor Doom, because why not? And then, of course, then we have the Super... Now, here's something quite interesting to know about Super Team, Giants Super Team, the Super Team series. It started with the giant-sized books. We're thinking, wait, why would it start there instead of basically start issue 1? Well, it's one of 2 series I've seen does this. The only other series that did this was Martian Manhunter. Yep, Martian Manhunter. Where his first issue was his annual. Yeah, the first annual release of the series was actually released just for issue 1. Yep. And for issues like 1 through 13 plus 2, it's basically a team up between Doctor Doom and Namor the Sub-Mariner, because why not? These two have worked together in the past, and they fight various people over the course of the series. But here's kind of the strange thing about this book. Now, is there any new characters? Now, Astonishing Tales does have a couple of new characters pop up in here, but does the Super Team Up series, does this one have any new characters who make their debut in this very series? The answer is no. Yeah, that's not a joke. There are no new characters introduced in this very series. Yeah. Though, in case you're wondering, what is up with Namor's attire? From what I've read, this was actually a brief alternate costume he had toward the end of his original solo comic book one published in the early 70s. And this book was released from 1975, 1977. So yeah, he had the outfit briefly before he back to his Speedo outfit he's not wearing. Yeah. It mostly allowed him to not fly per se, it's mostly allowed him to stay out water for longer periods of time. And it keeps up his strength. Until it got ruined. Yeah. Mostly put the whole storyline with their alliance that wraps up by issue 14. Yeah. Actually wraps up issue 13. Mm-hmm. But it's a great set of adventures. Mostly put just development for the Sub-Mariner, which has Doctor Doom take on Atuma. Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, 2 known supervillains fighting each other. Who knew? Yeah, in case you wonder what the whole point of the Avengers here, because they cross over the book, because why not? Champions! That was something that was similar to what happened in the Emperor James storyline, where Doctor spread a gas over the planet to convince everybody he was the ruler of the planet, but it didn't really go anywhere. Yeah, and that was the last time we saw Doctor in the series before they switched over to Red Skull and the Hate Monger for a couple issues, which that team up ended with the Red Skull trapping the Hate Monger in the Cosmic Cube. I don't know if he's still there to this very day, because the Cosmic Cube has changed a lot over the years. Mm-hmm. But this is actually a really good series. I do recommend it if people are fans of either Doctor Doom or Namor, if you're curious about it. Mm-hmm. Heck, and here's the thing about issue 14. It's supposedly a team between Doctor Doom and Magneto. Yes. I think this was the first time these two ever met. Because prior to this issue coming out, I think these two were around for about 15 years or so. Never interacted with each other before, and now we're like, oh, let's have them team up with each other. Awesome. Though that leads into a storyline that continues in Champion 16, which, here's kind of the strange thing about Champion 16. The very next issue that came right after this crossover, the series ended. And whatever plot thread basically the series had wrapped up in a 2-parter in Peter Parker, This Particular Spider-Man. Well, this series had reprints and last 2 more issues before the series ultimately got canceled. Yeah, but how can you release 17 issues in 3 years? My guess, delays. That's probably the reason why. Mm-hmm. But this overall is really good. Give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. I mainly only recommend to people fans of Doctor Doom, if you're curious. Like, they started, now in case you're wondering, Infamous Iron Man was not the first attempt to give Doctor Doom his own solo book, or the recent ongoing series he got right now. The Astonishing Tales feature is the first time he ever attempted, but mostly he's been tied to the Fantastic Four over the years. Yeah, but issues 1 to the first 2 issues of Giant Size Super Team Up and the first 13 issues feels like basically like a 15-part serial. That 15 mostly felt like an extra issue just because of the title Super-Villian Team. Let's have Doctor Doom team with something besides Namor. Which Namor kind of makes some sense because of the connection to Fantastic Four. But Magneto? As far as I know, there was really no reason for this at all. These two barely ever connect to each other at all. And in case you're wondering, do these two ever interact with each other after this storyline? As far as I can tell, yes, they did. In Acts of Vengeance, which came a decade later. But what about his hate monger Red Skull, which he did pop up in the Astonishing Tales feature, by the way? That team kind of makes sense because they're both Nazis. Yeah. But my only guess is the reason why that the series ended when it did, and this is my personal guess, I don't think anybody freaking cares about a storyline featuring Red Skull and the Hate Monger. Two people who are racist. Who want to buy that? Red Skull is a great character. He's had a couple miniseries. But those were a heck of a lot better than this. This is just okay at best, the last couple issues. Nothing against Peter Giles. Great writer. But this, I can't tell this, it was not his best work when it comes to writing comics. I like his work with Defenders really good. I like Mara Fanfare. Those are really good. His issues he wrote for Mara 2 are fantastic. Yeah, the guy is a good writer, but his Super Team issues is probably not something he probably want to talk about. Because maybe he felt embarrassed he had to write these issues. I have no idea. But that's just basically how it is when it comes to these particular books. Okay, so that's it for this particular review. My next review will definitely be the final review for my Berries Memory. That'll be up soon. Okay, see you next video. Bye.